We are here for learning about accessible Tier 1 technology that benefits all students. And I have to say the description said it was really related to K-5 students, but really this presentation is geared to all students in K-12 and post-secondary as well, and teachers, of course, for learning all about accessible Tier 1 technology. So Joe kind of stole my thunder and took all my, description of who I am, so I don't have to cover all of this. I am a technology early adopter and definitely a UDL evangelist. I strongly believe in including all students in the classroom and beyond, and we have to be considerate of all of our students in the design of our any of our classroom activities. I also want to mention that I'm a UDL Earn Core Foundation certified level 2 practitioner. So that's just a little sidebar. So let's keep going. What exactly is universal design for learning? It's a framework, but I like to think of it as a mindset, and a mindset that we're thinking about the design, as I mentioned, of any activities that we're doing in the classroom and considering all students. So students who love paper, students who love to read, students who are blind, visually impaired, have physical disabilities, have alternate language. So all students, we need to be very considerate of when we're designing activities. So UDL, applying the framework, ensures that all students, as it says here, are able to access and engage in any learning environment. And the 3 principles that we just embrace in terms of applying UDL is ensuring that teachers offer many different ways to represent information, which we're going to look at today in our built-in back pocket technologies. And also really exciting is offering students many different ways to demonstrate their knowledge. And inherent in that, in those designs, is you up the ante on engaging and motivating the learner to just take your lesson and run with it. And UDL, of course, is based on the fact that there is no average learner. So I added these clips today. I always do this at the very last moment. I like to refresh my presentations all the time. And you get a little description of what universal design is by me including some of these actual case studies. And I've worked with Tyler, this young man, since early intervention. So you're going to get to see today kind of the history of his use of assistive technology, accessible technology that he uses today, and also application of universal design for learning. So this is a clip of Tyler in the classroom in grade 7, and this is a perfect example of universal design for learning. And just look at all the technology that he's using and just the inclusive aspect of this activity. So they had 5 minutes to create a rhythm composition and share it with the class. So that was Tyler, and he's demonstrating a universal design-based class activity. His technology includes assistive technology and his accessible technology that we'll talk about in a little while. So what is assistive technology? Assistive technology Can I ask someone to turn off your mic? I'm hearing some feedback. Thank you. So assistive technology is any device and or service. So we have to include services in the clinical definition of assistive technology practices. But what assistive technology does is enhance performance of students with diverse learning needs and provides independent access to a task. It can be low tech, medium tech, high tech. It's definitely a process. It's just not a static recommendation. And here's your, iPad if that's the case, and we walk away. It is a process that follows the student throughout their what we call school career. AT is used by many different people to enhance functionality and performance, as I mentioned, in areas of reading. These are the tasks that we look at when we're matching appropriate assistive technology to the user. So enhancing performance in reading, in writing, in math, seating and positioning, vision, etc. So assistive technology for Tyler is really very, very involved as he was going through school. And I'm going to show you a little clip of he used head switch and switch interfaces because, as you probably noted, he has cerebral palsy, very ataxic cerebral palsy. He cannot control his motor movements whatsoever. So he can't hold a pencil. He can't hold a piece of paper to be able to, or a book to be able to independently read that. His head moves constantly, which means he has difficulty visually scanning the text of any hard copy. So we need to ensure that his curriculum, all of it, is accessible to him. And luckily enough today, we can move away from this very complicated assistive technology, as you'll see later, specialized software, computer, and that is assistive technology, which we're referring to now as Tier 3 assistive technology. And this is Tyler going through school. It's only a couple of minutes. There's no sound on this, so I'll verbally describe it. We've worked with Tyler since early intervention, and this was in 2001. And he's using a switch there to activate the scissors to actually cut the ribbon to open our Assistive Technology Center, which was at Nova Scotia Community College in Bridgewater. And we've worked with him. He's an adult now and out of school. We'll talk about that a little bit later. This is Tyler in school using very, very special, he's getting assessed here in the Assistive Tech Center, sorry. He is getting assessed by the occupational therapist at the IWK, and Mom was there, and the early interventionist and myself. And he's being assessed for best control site. So he was identified as a head switcher, which would allow him at the time to access a stationary computer. This is Tyler and his mom. And of course he uses a manual wheelchair at this point. This is when he's in grade 1. And again, he's using assistive technology that's very specific to his needs and very specialized. He's using a head switch to scan on screen in a specialized software called Clicker 4 at the time, and he hits the switch when he wants the right letter. Very proficient, very, very intelligent, integrated in every single classroom. This is him in grade 3, and now he has a laptop, a modified desk, and again, still specialized software. So this is assistive technology, and I'm explaining this just so you realize the difference in a little bit to what accessible technology is. And there's a little bit more you'll see in the next part of the clip that describes how he's accessing today his accessible technology. And this is when he, in grade 5, became a gamer. And his dad actually built a unit that he could access with his mouth, as you can see here, and his tongue. And we identified at that time that this was quite a good means of him accessing his assistive technology. But at the time, of course, he couldn't access the computer. But what he could access, what came down at that, like just after that in grade 7, was the iPad, which has built-in accessibility options. So accessible technology that we're finally getting to is a device that can be used by anyone and has design features that expand, as it says here, it expands use to people with a wide range of abilities. So examples don't necessarily need to be only iPads and Chromebooks with their built-in accessibility options, but think highlighters, think sticky notes, think picture supports, etc. And of course, our built-in accessibility options, which we'll be showing you today. And I'm going to show you some great little Google Docs tips and Google Drives tips as well. So accessible technology is directly usable without assistive technology, or it's made accessible through interoperability with assistive technology. So Tyler today, again, he uses a very unconventional access mode with his nose and his tongue. But once that iPad came along and he had direct access to the screen and it made it operable, today he uses primarily an iPhone, an iPad Pro, and because of the built-in accessibility options, those UDL designed devices, he prefers it to any other technology. He doesn't use any switch access anymore and hasn't for quite a few years. So here he is, a demonstration of him using his iPhone.
I just do that. And then go on my Apple TV. And then you're using the assistive touch? Yeah, because I configure this myself. It's not the default setting, but it's just you know how I take screenshots and stuff? Yeah, that's what I'm talking in trouble with these paramedics and stuff. I don't use too much stuff like that. That's what basic.
Okay, so remarkable young man. Provide some feedback in the chat box if you think he's amazing. So let's move to what is Tier 1, and that's related to MTSS, which you probably know about, multi-tier system of support, which the province is following, built right into the inclusive ed policy. It's an integrated school-wide approach, which provides a structure, as it says, for effective instruction, assessment, and support for all learners. It has a specific focus on well-being and achievement. Please note, very important when we're talking about MTSS, it refers to services and supports provided to students. It is definitely inappropriate to refer to students as Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3 students. Again, an assistive technology is related to services and supports depending upon the peers. So related to Tyler, his Tier 1 technology that he's using now with all the built-in accessibility options, really any of you with an iPhone or another type of phone in your back pocket, universally designed devices is a Tier 1 accessible technology. We're considering Tier 2 as a little more involved, focused assistive technology services and supports. And historically, Tyler really throughout his school years up until about grade 5, 6, using the more specific and very specialized Tier 3 assistive technology. And so over the years, he used quite a bit. Keep in mind that Tyler today, he uses tier 1 technology and tier 3 services and supports because he uses the mounting system and his wheelchair. Those are all considered more involved and individualized services and supports. Before we leave, I'm going to give you a link to the folder that has this slide deck in it and this chart, which we've put together with our ATUDL lead team. I know it's hard for you to see here, but it gives you a really good visual example of tier 1 universal accessible technology that benefits most students. For example, we're talking about built-in accessibility option devices, pencil grips, flexible seating, etc. Tier 2 is more focused, and it might be read and write for Google, for example. So a referral to assistive technology services for a little more support that a student might need who isn't necessarily benefiting as expected from tier 1 technology. And tier 3, you saw with Tyler's example, going through school when he was younger, he used tier 3 assistive technology, and it's more intensive. And other examples, well, the head switching or augmentative communication devices for students who are nonverbal, etc. So remind me to give you that link, and you can access and share this, this document if you want. Another link that I'll share with you, and I'm going to go super quickly to this website that we are developing. It's a website on for a collaborative learning teams across the province if they want to, because it's open to the public, on assistive technology, UDL, and MTSS. And I'll just flip to it right now, because on one link it's got one of the sites, the MTSS link. It's got some great videos I've put together. And let's go share this tab. And here it is here, Nova Scotia Collaborative Learning Team modules, and they're really training modules. It is under construction and probably always will be, but we've divided it into what we feel is a nice sort of category. What I want to do is take you to the multi-tier system of support. Super quickly, it explains what MTSS is, tier 1 universal, and let's go to tier 1 right now. That explains all the tier 1 universal supports, what universal design is, some basic assistive technology and UDL strategies. I'm whipping through this because I can't wait to get to show you all sorts of other stuff. And these are the video clips. They're all closed captions. They're on my YouTube channel as well if you want to subscribe. Examples of tier 1 accessible technology. What is MTSS? This clip is, they're all about 5 minutes long. But we're going to be adding to this and posting how to use how to get to and use the accessible technology. I have some other clips, Google Slide Translator down here, Google Docs. I'll be showing you this today. So just remember, this is on our site. If you go to the CLT modules as well, we have broken down tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 technology into the different tasks. So if you take a look at the reading, and again, we're adding hyperlinks to all of this. Reading, decoding, comprehension. We've got all sorts of tier 1 accessible technology on this link posted here. We need to add some more accessible, hyperlinks to give you more information. But you'll see tier 2 gets more involved, more focused assistive technology recommendations, and this one's broken into elementary and middle school. Okay, and sorry, I'm flipping around here and it's going fast, but if we go back to CLT modules, we also have writing and math, which we're building. I have a lot to post on there when I have some time. And communication are all the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 assistive technologies for communication. So I just wanted to share that with you really quickly. Again, I'll be giving you that link. So you'll have to probably remind me. We're getting into the demos now, and I want to really quickly just remind you that there are some really super amazing built-in functions like keyboard shortcuts that are considered tier 1 accessible technology that we do every day and don't even think about it. So copy paste, Command F for finding or Control F, spell checking, predictive text. All of those benefit everybody. So that means that they actually qualify as accessible technology functions. So when we think about those actions, if we're typing, it benefits someone with a stylus, someone who's typing with their eyes, someone who's typing with their hands, someone who has pain in their hands can really benefit from those keyboard shortcuts. Command P for printing, Command R for read aloud. So just remember that those are very valid recommendations for students to enhance their access. So I'm going to show you some built-in accessibility tips and tricks within Google first, and image conversion to text in Google Docs, converting handwriting to text, and translation in a Google Docs slide, voice typing, text to speech, some built-in accessibility options. I know a lot of you have already seen Immersive Reader because I've been in a couple of sessions and it's very popular for accessing websites. And then I'm going to jump over and screen share my iPad and walk through the extensive accessibility options that are in that device and literally in your back pocket that a lot of people don't know about. And we really, really want teachers to start using more of the tier 1 built-in accessible features within the devices that they have that are offered students, because we need to streamline our practice, especially during the COVID process. And I'll also show you some accessibility options within Chromebook. And hopefully we can do that within the next 35 minutes. If I talk fast enough, maybe that'll happen. Okay, so I'm just going to jump over to Google Docs, and I'm going to share this tab. So Google Docs actually and Google Drive is starting to actually really amaze me. I'm pretty impressed with this feature that I actually only learned. I'm going to admit it. I've been in this field for 30 years, as was mentioned earlier, and I only learned about this a couple of months ago when I was in a webinar, one of those free webinars during COVID. But I was so impressed with it, and I've been showing it to everybody since. So what I did, I'm not going to go through the process of, you all know how to take a picture of text or picture of a handwritten list with your phone and uploading it to Google Docs, right? So, but when you have a JPEG document, this is uploaded to my Google Drive as a JPEG, so it's an image, but it's not an accessible image. It means that it's not a malleable text. I can open it up and enlarge it, but I can't do anything else with it. So what I need to do is convert it to text, a text format that I could have read aloud, or I could magnify, or I could start typing on the document and using speech to text, or I could translate it. So this is the process. This is what we're going to do. And I have one of these walkthrough videos on that website or on my YouTube channel if you want to refer to it after. So watch carefully. So I took the picture of the hard copy text, and I just selected, as you can see here, I do not open it. I select it and go to the three vertical buttons or dots on beside the trash can, and I select open with. I'm going to select Google Docs, and it's going to open that image of the text. It's optical character recognition scanning. Who knew that was built right into Google Docs? And it gives you the picture at the top. And I'm just going to actually get rid of that picture. Okay. But what I have below is the text, of course, that the OCR scan text. So now I can, because I'm just going to type in my, because it was a image, the M didn't transfer nicely in the optical character recognition scanning. So now I've got a flexible text, which means that with my built-in accessibility option on my laptop, I can do Command R.
My father's youthful exploits were one many, and the stories told even to this day are beyond counting.
And I can have it read aloud. I can actually, let's see, select a text. Let's select a text and go to Tools, and I can pull down a dictionary. You can't do this with the image, right? I can also have you probably know about this, but that sidebar dictionary read aloud after highlighting it. There's a few other things I want to show you. I can actually have this document translated now, right? We couldn't do that before because it was just a image document. And if I hit translate, oh, I see you're not following this. Oh my goodness. Okay, hold on a sec. Now that's upsetting. Okay, when it goes to, beware, when it goes to, I'm gonna start over, okay? I have to actually, I'm gonna start over and open with, I have to open the other tab, share this tab. I apologize for that. Here it goes. So you got the idea. I'll remember to do that again in the future. I'm just going to get rid of the picture. I can select the text. Now it's malleable. I can have it read aloud.
How he tamed the giant. Why father's youthful exploits were one many, and the stories told even to this day are beyond counting.
And remember, I have the book here. This is inflexible text, right? So that means that some of your students can access it, but many can't. Once it's digitized, I can make it larger, I can make it smaller. Kids who are blind can access it. Kids with learning disabilities can access. I can use my tools to pull up that dictionary and have the dictionary read aloud. I can also translate the document. Lucky I looked over at my other computer and saw that, yeah. So translating the document, and immediately it does that. It makes another whole other document, so you have to remember where that's located. Okay, so one more thing, you can, with the add-ons, we have add-ons built in, this text study skills. So this is part of Read and Write for Google, but part of the free feature. So take a look at, you can highlight the text, and you can collect those highlights and make a different study document out of those. And that's a free add-on built right into Google Docs. Okay, and we also have, of course, the ability now to type into this document, and I'll just, and that's in a tool, and here's voice typing. Please make sure you choose the right language you want to voice type in.
Excuse me. Hi, Barb. We don't see the screen that you're typing on. I don't know if you wanted us to see it.
I think I totally crashed it. Hold on, I'm coming back up. Okay. Okay, here we go. Share this tab.
Perfect.
Okay, so yeah, I must have just been going way too fast. So we're back here at this document, and so we've got lots of add-on tools. Keep those in mind. These are built-in accessibility options that we don't think of technically as accessibility options. For example, down here, you can turn on the screen reader support for individuals who are blind, or magnifier. Okay, so you saw the translation feature, and let me go back. Cross my fingers that it all works. I'll show you one more piece, and that is changing handwriting. So I'm selecting that. This depends upon good handwriting, but I'm going to again go to the three dots, open in, open the Google Doc, and this will blow your mind. Again, it's going to become an accessible format, and these are built into Google Docs. Again, it's got a built-in. Okay, I had to. You keep having to share tab. Got to get used to that. But down here at the bottom is my shopping list. And of course, I can now use all my tools. I can have it read aloud. I can have it translated. I could use my speech to text. I could type right in here. Okay, so those are a few features. I should mention too, the other thing you can do with PDF, which I don't think I need to show you, is you can do exactly the same thing, convert a PDF document. If you don't have the capability to type on your PDFs, if you don't have the apps or extensions like Read and Write for Google, then this might be an option for converting PDF into an operable format. So, and that would be converting it to a Google Doc exactly the same way, okay? I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna risk any more issues. But let's go back to my home. See, and what I'll do is I'll show you, taking some time to load. Let's just go to multi-tier system of support. I'm going to show you Immersive Reader. Some of you might know this. It's a it's not technically an accessible technology, but what it is it's an extension that we got approved at the Department of Ed the last 3 months. So yes, and it's free. Everybody can go and grab that and put it on their GNSPES accounts. So I'm just going to right mouse click, select the text, and right mouse click on that text, and a little prompt button comes up and says, help me read this. And it activates Read and Write for Google. You've probably seen this before. And this is for websites. So I can change the size of the text, the increased spacing between the lines. I can change the font. I can change the background. And of course, I can have it read aloud. The other cool thing I love about this is, as I just showed you inadvertently, you can click on any word and it will bring up any noun anyway. It'll bring up an image of what that word is. So You can
School-wide approach which provides a structure for effective instruction.
So now this malleable, flexible text is accessible to all students. The other cool thing it can do super quickly is translate. So let's translate to German and the whole document. And then we can also have that read aloud. So
Mehrstufiges Unterstützungssystem, MTSS.
So it's doing something very strange there, but just be aware that now this is makes this document, this website accessible to very, very many students. Students who have vision impairment, students who in your class who speak a second language like German. They have access to that website information. I can change a photograph of hard copy text into malleable text and flexible text into Google Docs really easily and make it accessible. That definitely is tier 1 assistive or accessible technology. So I'm going to flip over now to, I'm going to go back to me for a second, just for a second. And what I want to do is I'm going to screen share my iPad and show you some accessibility options on, oh, I know what I'm going to do. Never mind. Stop me. I need to present the entire screen and share. And now I'm going to, you're going to see my iPad up on the screen. And this is because I have Air Server software on my laptop, my Mac laptop. And this is an example. I'm going to walk you through accessibility options built right into these devices. And every single device now has built-in accessibility options. Some are better designed than others. This is what makes them universally designed technologies. So what you do on the iPad is go to settings, and remember, lots of kids have their own iPhones. We have lots of kids who have iPads. Teachers have iPads throughout the system. They can take pictures of hard copy text and send it up to Google Drive super easily. But the built-in accessibility options are really second to none. So I'm just going to go through them. VoiceOver is one. I'll show you a little video clip of VoiceOver. It's for students who are blind. So it actually changes your device, your iPad, your iPhone, whatever, iPad mini, into a screen reader. Also apply, all these accessibility options are built into all the Mac products. So VoiceOver is again for people who are blind. I'm not going to demonstrate it. I'm going to instead in a minute show you a video of a student using the this accessibility option who is blind. But just keep in mind, within this accessibility option, VoiceOver, there are many, many other choices, which means we can individualize VoiceOver for specific students by changing the voice, the pitch, the language, verbosity. We can add a Braille output device or input device. You can change the commands. You can add a large cursor to the entire document as well, or device. So let me just go, I have it queued up here, and I hope you can see this.
You go to, you run your finger along the screen and you find what you're looking for. And there's like a little bit of a vibration, so it helps too. And it reads everything on the screen as you're going. And so then I open Twitter,
vertical scroll bar, 46, 36, 26, 66,
and it's at the top of the Twitter page now. Compose tweet. And I'm gonna compose a tweet. And normally you would use the regular keyboard here, but the iPhone also has this other keyboard where when you turn it, now I can braille and use a braille keyboard. So M space REATRNG space A space TWEET space RRGHT space NOW period. Now space dot sig cap I space LOE space UFING space M1 space I cap AONE period iPhone. And so portrait. Then they can read what I wrote. Cap G. Using my iPhone. Voice recording. Text field is editing. I'm creating a tweet right now. I love using my iPhone. Character mode. Insertion point at end. So I could share that if I want. But that's pretty much the idea. Twitter. And so you double tap on anything to open it. Doc. Messages. Safari. And it'll bring up whatever. So basically it just reads whatever is on my screen, and then I can interact with it and double tap or a triple tap or scroll using 3 fingers up and down. Next button. Address. Google.com. Address. Delete. Selection deleted. HTTPS Braille screen input. ELOGFPOT period. OM. Portrait. Go. Go. Next button. Address. Logger.com. Secure and validated connection. 1392. Read more. Link. Logger's new interface is now available automatically.
Isn't that remarkable? I can't do that demonstration. I can't show voiceover with any kind of confidence whatsoever. But with Zoom, built right in as an accessibility option, I can magnify the screen. You have to really focus on double tap, 3 fingers to zoom. And again, once you've zoomed, it applies to every app that you have available. And what you want to do is move around with your 3 fingers, and you can have a controller on your screen just to make it much easier to navigate. You can also direct a little small focus, very, very individualized settings. Again, you can change the magnification and make your on-screen information much more accessible. I can change my whole device into a magnifying glass. I can enlarge the text of any onboard apps. So again, thinking of diversity in your classroom and making all your content accessible. We're not going away from not handing out hard copy text, but we need to give students a choice, right? So we need to digitize the text that we're handing out and give them the choice of what how they're actually going to access and engage in it. We have spoken content, and this is just text to speech, which they built in the speech output in iOS 5. And that was a game changer for us. So I'm just going to go to Wikipedia and show you this. Now it's digitized, right? So I can enlarge it. I can select that text with speak selection on and have it read aloud.
Elephants are mammals of the family Elephantidae and the largest existing land
animals. And I have it highlighting as it reads aloud, so that's beneficial to all students. It makes that reading multisensory. And if I actually type in simple elephants, let's see, simple Wikipedia, a lot of you might know about this already, but it changes the language level of that information. So the other item I saw, or the document that I just showed you, was a higher language level because I went to the regular Wikipedia, but this is simple Wikipedia, which is really a built-in feature that makes it much more accessible for many students. But again, I can have the whole screen read aloud. I can assign a controller. I can turn on what I want highlighted as it reads aloud. You're going to have to go into all your features and take a look. because there's no end to really how a student can individualize these. You can change the whole language of your device, of course, and change the voices as well. We all know that we can do speech to text, right? So we can output, we can voice record. With the iPad, we have physical and motor control. So we have all sorts of touch accommodations. Tyler uses assistive touch. We have haptic touch now, which is just being developed, which is what the girl uses, that haptic feedback to tell her when she's at the right location to lift off during the use of VoiceOver. The touch accommodations, we can tell the iPad to respond to a different hold duration. If a student has like cerebral palsy or muscular dystrophy and they can't hold down with direct selection for an extended period of time or long enough, we can change the hold duration, and we can tell the iPad to respond to liftoff or final touch location. So all sorts of different features. The switch control, we can, when Tyler was using switch access with his head switch when he was younger, we could have actually built a switch access into the iPad if it had been available. This is the only real device that I've seen, mobile device that I've seen, tablet device that I've seen that has switch access. And there's a completely different way of accessing and engaging in this device. However, once we digitize the text, a person using switch access for whatever reason can access the information that you're providing them. So we can add all sorts of different options, key repeat, sticky keep features, again, built right into the accessibility options that enhance access and control of manipulating the keyboard. We can add hearing devices through Bluetooth and add subtitling or individualized subtitling within any subtitle or closed caption enabled video. So keep that in mind too. And let's see, we have guided access, which allows a teacher or a parent to essentially lock the student into one app at a time. And Siri, of course, is speech to text, so we can, or just, asking Siri questions. We have lots of kids using that for all sorts of different reasons. Think of the benefits for students who don't have the motor control to interact, but they're using voice control. And voice control is becoming much more popular with the iPad. Okay, so that's about it for the accessibility options. And definitely take a look at if you have an iPhone sitting on your table. Ever since they hit the market, they've had built-in accessibility options, but this is why we want to be updating all the time, because every update includes brand new and really exciting accessibility options for all sorts of different users. But it means that almost anybody can pick up this device and start using it, engaging in information, accessing, and also demonstrating knowledge. So just a kind of funny way of showing you this, I'm just going to go over to my Chromebook here, because what I want to do is just show you where the accessibility options are on my Chromebook. And you go down to the main taskbar, and there's accessibility sitting right there. And you've got, let me go a bit closer. I know this is not very professional, but Chromevox, that's a spoken feedback. So that's much like your VoiceOver. On the iPad, you've got select to speak, so that's text to speech. voice dictation, high contrast mode. You've got a full screen magnifier. You've also got an on-screen keyboard, which you also obviously have on the iPad. And you also have access to on your, these are the main controls of your Chromebook. And you can also enlarge the cursor, etc. Okay, so oh, I see something happened with that chat box. Anyway, that's about it for the built-in accessibility options. There are some built-in accessibility options within Chrome, the Chrome browser, that you might want to take a look at. So there's many layers and accessibility options, tier 1 accessibility options built into every single device. So it's just a matter of locating them and finding them and thinking about who would benefit from their use. But they're right there and available, and all you need to do is search for it and kind of make it work for you. They're very powerful. So we actually have 5 minutes, so I know that was pretty fast, and I apologize for that, but there was a lot to cover. I wonder if you have any questions, if anybody wants to post questions in the chat box, or if you also want to grab the mic and share a comment or use of accessible technology that you might want to share with your colleagues.